Hello and welcome to On the Spot. We are coming to you from the Western District of Kasese. We are here to speak to the Inspector General of Police, who has been here for some time. He has come to the Rwenzori to ensure that this area has peace and tranquility. We know sometime back there was death and destruction here that left almost 90 people dead and property destroyed. How is the Rwenzori faring today? Tonight, my guest is the Inspector General himself, General Kale Kaihura. Afande Kale Kaihura, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kamara.
Just like I said in my introduction, you've been here for some time, and because you want the place to be peaceful, to be stable, if you were to meet people in Kampala and anywhere in Uganda, would you tell them this place is stable?
Absolutely, it's very stable, and I think even my minister has made a statement to that effect some time back. Yes, we had the tragic incident on the 5th of July, and mainly in Bundubujo town, where attackers from the mountains assaulted the police station and even dared to attack the barracks, military barracks, and obviously there were casualties, unfortunately. We lost some on our side, or that was reported. Simultaneously, obviously you remember there was also an incident here in Kasese. It did not affect the town, it just some thugs connected with the, later on obviously established, connected with this same group, killed an SPC, a special police constable, who with another were guarding the way bridge on Kasese Mbarara Road. Then the massacre, the killings of in the villages of Asongora in Bigando areas of Kasese, Biganda and Ihunga areas of Kasese. So we moved in quickly. Well, the army did an outstanding job. The police, who have since investigated, most of them actually acted bravely. It was just a problem of a problem of command and control, actually. That was basically the problem. But the majority of the police acted in the circumstances bravely, were reinforced by the army, and prevented the attackers from achieving their objectives. And that's, in any situation of this kind, once you succeed to defeat whoever is attacking, to defeat the objectives, that's really the measure
Did you get
of
to
success.
know what the objective was?
Because as you know, we got everybody, including the planners. The planners, and they confessed. They confessed initially to us, the security, and eventually before the president, and begged for pardon. And yeah, it's just a mix of disgruntlement. They had all sorts of disgruntlement, which they claimed justified their evil plans. We are happy that we are able to nip it in the bud.
But nipping it in the bud, you kind of were in a business of firefighting. The president, who is your commander-in-chief, blamed it on the laxity of the intelligence. And one still wonders, how could this have happened here in the Rwenzori without your knowledge?
Well, you see, I made my statement. I think it was in the New Vision. Even the best security systems in the world sometimes are caught, by surprise.
So you're caught unaware.
Well, incidents will happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the embassies in Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, the U.S. embassies bombed to such a devastating degree, or the 9/11. These things will happen, real, honestly. The critical thing is that you evaluate what went wrong and you rectify. In this case, I don't really think it helps anybody to go into a blame game. One of the reasons I decided to focus here as the Inspector General of Police was to evaluate the policy. First of all, what went wrong? Attended with the police. But eventually, even with others, because police is the lead, operationally, we are the lead agency. There has been a lot of, of course it's true, there were weaknesses. And I should not start apportioning blame to any particular agency. Definitely there was general laxity.
Yes, you just said there was an issue of command and control. Has that been sorted, General?
Yes, at least as far. First of all, I deployed a team from Professional Standards Unit of the police, and they did a very thorough job. They were able to pinpoint where problems were, both within the police and with also the other agencies. And the conclusion for me that I came to, actually the conclusion they came to, which obviously was presented to me, was that there was general laxity in the system, even beyond the security system, because we have a LOC system. There was general laxity, although individuals, civilians, I must applaud them. Individuals, just individuals, gave information at certain stages, and some of the officers thought it was not serious.
You talk of laxity in the police. I met a police officer in Kampala, intended to be exact. I may not be able to mention his name. He poured out his frustration for having missed his salary for the last 2 months.
No,
and he says many others. Could this be an issue?
No. Definitely the DPC has not missed his salary. The DPC of Bundubujo did not miss his salary. All the officers who were supposed to do their work here did not miss their salaries, and that could not have been the reason.
The police, sir?
No, it's not. First of all, there is this issue of salary has been mentioned here and there. It has nothing to do with the management of the police. It's to do with, it is to do with the systems, the financial systems, which are managed by both the Public Service and Ministry of Finance. These are the ones who are responsible for our wage bill, managing the payment of salaries. It's not the Inspector General of Police. Of course, I must make sure that everyone gets a salary. The only active role we played was that doing head count. We did head count, and some of the police were not there. So that could do. Were not there, and we reported this as well of ensuring that we don't have ghosts on our payroll. Now that one, those who were affected were given opportunity later on to appeal. A few managed to come and were reinstated. Now the rest, we declared them as ghosts, and we have since replaced them. Now, however, the critical thing is, this issue of salary, those who have been missing salary and are actually in existence. It's more to do with this system of migrating from one financial system to another by the Ministry of Finance, and this has been explained over and over. So, but that cannot explain the laxity here. The laxity was simply criminal. That's why, for me, in my case, as the head of the institution, I took very quick action. I've replaced the command, the officers who were implicated. Now we've strengthened the quality of the police here. We are still in that process. Precisely, that's the point. Rectification. Rectification.
This attack, even a month before the attack here, we had seen sporadic attacks in different parts of Uganda, in eastern Uganda, a police post was attacked. In Zambia, a policeman was killed in the barracks. In Lunguja, a police informer was killed. Even these attacks, all of them were pinpointing to military and police installations. And what we are reading,
even in Mubende,
the barracks. There was a barracks. So isn't that some form of, some kind of an insurgency?
No,
on our hands?
please. They are absolutely not connected. There is no connection, and I would wish that if you had alerted me, I would have brought you all the reports. They are absolutely not connected. The issue of, for example, in Kyegegwa, it was a sect actually from Rwanda, a Muslim sect which had a local problem with the Baroko group there, who I think had burnt the mosque, and then these ones also counted. There is a report at any rate. Now, these are the incidents. We've been having these incidents. I mean, if you want to read anything
In it.
To that extent, you could as well take an AR in Uganda. You always get these incidents of crime. But that does not mean that there is some crisis. There is no crisis.
The uniqueness in this, General Kaihura, is that they were attacking police and even attempting to attack military installations. For them to get this kind of, to be that aggressive and to be that courageous, some people read into this something else, which is quite unusual.
No, they shouldn't. A lot of it is criminals, actually, to be frank to you. Like the case of Mubende. They attacked a home of the operations officer, very inspector. And they were also targeting the home of the DPC, who have since promoted to RPC, because they had effectively destroyed a gang of thugs, which was operating from the city to different towns in the country. And the survivors, and especially along the highway, Fort Portal, Mubende, Kampala highway, this time it was really very insecure. So this is the last incident was at I think mobile money outlet, which they tried to attack, and these officers I think killed some of them. Now the survivors decided to revenge. And then these other incidents, the same, trying to get guns to rob. It has absolutely nothing to do with any organized insurgents of any sort.
We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, I want to put a question to the General. We have had the King of the Rwenzururu, His Majesty Charles Wesley Mumbere, be very categorical. In fact, one day he said that if they came to him, he wouldn't go as a civilian because he was a professional soldier. What has been the police's response into those words that were made by the King himself? We'll be right back.